person. I made a mistake. I think I was like backache. Unless heart space yoga. What's your name? And can you try to make Amanda the host? I accidentally did you. I clicked on Amanda, but it shifted to you. Hi, there you are. Can you do me a favor and see if it'll let you?
Let's
You're just
see.
gonna click on her name. Like if you go under participants and then you see Amanda, click on more, down drop, and you should be able to make her host.
Amanda Palmer. Amanda Palmer?
Yeah, Amanda Palmer. I
Participants?
love technology. Yeah, participants, and then on the right-hand side it says,
Okay, a little three dots.
yeah,
When I click that, it only says mute all or ask all to unmute.
no, if you come to participants, click on participants, and then it should list out all the people that are in this room right now.
Yes, I see that.
And then where it says Amanda, is there a down button that says more?
No, just I'm on my. Okay, here we go. Amanda, ask to unmute, ask to start video, make host.
Yeah, there it is. I was like, I don't want to leave the room. What's your name, by the way?
Andrea.
Andrea, hi. I always love putting like faces to their names on social media and in emails. Hi, Olivia. Okay, so Fathom did something silly to me last night, and now it's like, please install the new app. I installed the new app, and it keeps saying install it again. I just restarted my computer. If you're upset with technology going in your favor, the human is gonna come and mess everything up. Oh, okay, I want to start this song over so that as you're entering the room, you can really just dive into this song. Something that I also want to say is like, it can be she, it can be he, it can be they. I know there are some men, some people that like the pronoun they. So just think about human beings and the power of our lineage. Your mother, your grandmother's grandmother, like the power of the lineage being carried down and the power of human beings. If you want to get up and kind of just like tribal, any rage, any frustration, any doubt, any questioning, like let your body move. Welcome as you're joining. If you could have your cameras on, just letting the sound of this music drop into the vessel, the mother. Let the music move you. Back in, they. excited for day two. Thank you so much, Andrea. Hi, Stephanie. Angela, you made it. I know yesterday we had the time cake. Oh, the time cake. Oh, really? I'm so happy we're all here live, spending the past few minutes of this song, like land in your vessel. The frequency cellular shift of words and music, let's land in your body. Getting me to have to take out before we get started. Welcoming to day two. So happy for those of you that are here live, those of you that are watching the replay. I have a quick question. Does nobody want to win a free experience to Costa Rica? Why did no one share about this on their social media? I was like, who doesn't want to win a free ticket to Costa Rica? I was like, I think I was not clear yesterday because only a handful of you shared. So if you want to win a Becoming Limitless hat and or a year of free coaching with me and or a free ticket to Costa Rica in May, like share about this, share your big takeaway. I got some messages from you guys last night where you're like, holy shit, fear has been blocking me from making decisions. I can see where fear has shown up for me. And what I sent out in the Wade chat and channel for those of you that were not there is it's mind training, yes. But part of mastering the human is being able to clear the body system, the stories, the patterns, the lineage. What was your mother's conversation to you around money? Do you know what your grandmother put into your mother around money? What was that conversation? Because for those of us that want to birth big empires into the world and change lives, the only way for us to do that without being broke is to hold a lot of money, internal capacity to hold more money. So part of what I was sharing is like, when I was in college, my mantra was, I just want to be happy. And I was miserable. And my dad had just died. And I'd spent my whole life just wanting my dad to be proud of me. Fear would have kept me going to college out of disappointment of him. And it was one of the first times that I became a rule breaker. Share with me in the comments the first time you started breaking the rules of shoulds and haves tos. I know some of you yesterday were like, I canceled calls. I canceled a mastermind. I shifted and refunded a client. Like big moves were made yesterday when you really got clear with yourself. I dropped out of college to study yoga. And I'm from Iowa, y'all. I'm from Iowa. And in Iowa, you don't study yoga and you definitely don't eat vegetarian or you're weird. I was so weird. And yet I had no idea I was going to make it a career. And then that wild, crazy move of fear-based faith, I was so afraid. You don't make big moves like that and not feel fear. You're a human being. So how do I hold the fear and make the move in faith? How do I hold the fear and make the move in faith? I sold everything I owned 10 years ago to move to Costa Rica and lead retreats. Yet I was afraid. I doubted. I have 10 journals of like, it's all good if it doesn't work out. I'll go back and grow weed again in Colorado. Like I had a lot of fear. But what gave me faith was that I can always go backwards. So we don't make big moves without feeling the fear and afraid. But we believe and have faith in what is calling us forward. It's like this, I'm meant for this, right? And so I left a relationship that I was in for 4.5 years after the miscarriage. And I was afraid that I would never find anyone better, that my love that I desired didn't exist. Have y'all been following me on social media? Right? Like my husband is so amazing. And yet there's things he does that I'm like, why am I married? But that's the duality, right? Because we're human. He's not perfect, but he's perfect for me. And then I quit working for someone else who was paying me to lead yoga teacher trainings to start my own business because fear would have had me working for someone else because I was always hiding behind someone else. Can I actually run and lead a company? Me? But I held the fear and I had faith. I held the fear and I had faith. So when you think, what's your next big move that you're going to make? You're not going to get rid of fear. You are not going to eliminate fear. Isn't that feel so good? Like I'm not meant to get rid of fear. I'm not meant to get rid of doubt. I'm not meant to get rid of worrying, questioning, doubting. I'm meant to hold it and make the move anyway. So I'm going to hold it and make the move anyways. I want to tell you a story just around what I'm actually navigating and moving through right now in this very present moment. Back in December, I had a potential client, reach out about mastering the human, the retreat. And she's like, I know I need this, all of these reasons. She came to my masterclass devotion and she shared something that like shook me to my core because I was working with my book coach and she said to me, who's your audience? And I was like, well, I never thought about an audience. I think about my audience with what I'm doing right now in my business, but I never thought about it for my book because my book is for me. I'm writing my book for me. And when she asked, I was like, it's for any little girl who's looking for hope. And Andrea sent me a message and she said, Amber, can I share your devotional masterclass with my daughter who's looking for a different way? And I just started crying. And I was like, my story isn't just meant for us who are building big companies and businesses and retreats and changing lives. It's for the little girl that was in high school or in college that was like, I want a different way and I want someone to show me a different path. And she was the evidence of that. She went on to buy the Cash Flow Catalyst, learning how to create a funnel. She hired me for Becoming Limitless, my intensive. And yesterday she reached out after call one and she said, hey, I'm in for Mastering the Human. My body is scared as F, but I'm excited and I know this is meant for me. And when she sent this message, I fell asleep after I got it and I responded to her. When you get potential clients reaching out about programs and you're in a sales conversation, is your body able to relax and surrender enough with faith that you won't lose that person? Can you let go of the result? I literally slept for an hour and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never been so embodied in my method before. It's like the old version of me would have been waiting for her response, waiting for her to pay, waiting for her to make the move. But she's been in my world since December. And she says to me in our Telegram thread yesterday, because we're doing one-on-one coaching in the intensive, she says to me, I don't even know how you came into my world. Everything you share, it just lands with me. And I was like, you came into my world for Mastering the Human. I was like, I can go back into my Instagram. I remember because you reflected back to me this. And I thanked her crying, like in tears, like you are the mere reflection of the work that I've done because you are an ideal client. And she says, I want to join Mastering the Human because I want the wave and I want the calls with you. Because when you learn to master your human, you can master the funnel. So many people question the strategy, change the strategy, rather than being devoted to the strategy as they're devoted to the human. And so that's really what today is all about. Can I surrender into faith that what is meant for me, when the clients are meant for me, when it's meant to happen, I can let go enough. Now, mastering the human is a process of clearing your energy body because, as we spoke of yesterday, you are inside of a body. Your aliveness is inside of a contained body, and your body holds memories. And share in the comments with me, what are some of your power moments, big decisions that you've made that you would not be who you are today because of those moves? Free birthing my daughter, leaving the relationship, Eureka, dropping out of college. Like these are core pieces that if you've been following me for a while, I talk about them again and again and again because it's what's made up my brand and my business. And it's been the story created in real time. So, what is your story that is your power moment that is going to give you your evidence bank? Because when we hold the fear and we move in faith, we want to have evidence. Buying a big property, quitting my job to raise my children, studying again, changing career at 35. Right? Anyone ever had a career change at 35 and think like you're supposed to stay in this? Leaving relationships, but like what would have happened if you didn't leave that relationship? Moving to the US at 45. 45, you are so full of conditioning and programming. That's a big move, right? And so what I want you to think about is right now, create 50 different moments in your life that is your power. I did something that scared me, but I moved in faith. I have what it takes to take big moves that scare the F out of me, but I believe this is meant for me. If you have in your body right now this like, I need to do mastering the human, like there's this pull inside of me that I want to clear, activate, and live from my power, what is stopping you? What is blocking you? Because that block isn't just blocking you in joining the program, coming on the retreat. It's blocking you in your money, in your relationship, in your children, in all these areas of your life, because we're just being mirrored back to us, our internal reality. Angela, she was going to join Here for More Live, and she's like, I know I'm meant to be there. I know I'm going to figure it out. And within 3 weeks, she bought her ticket, pay in full. Fear would have not let her buy the ticket. She probably had fear and scared as fuck. And she had a best friend that's like, you need to be there. You need to be there. So she had someone to hold her in faith, right? And we talked about this yesterday, how powerful it is to be in a room like this, where we're all holding each other in big moves, supporting each other in big moves, right? So what is your power moves that you can lean into? Who are your power people? Who are the people that you see doing big things? And you're like, you're doing big things. Share in the chat right now. Just take a moment, drop into your body, surrender into the vessel. Surrender, surrender, surrender. What is the thing that you really want right now? What is the thing that you really desire right now? And where is your human getting in the way? What is your human telling you? What is your human experiencing? Being able to hold space for the human, to surrender into the thing that contains me from my limitless potential is my human, right? Because a baby is in the womb, and the only thing that contains the baby from the external world is the womb. Once you come into the world, you're now in a body. And all of the sudden, you're Amber, and all of the sudden you're a girl from Iowa, and all of the sudden you have two parents, all of the sudden you're being shaped and conditioned by your external reality. And the one thing that you have control over is your internal reality. You can change what you think and what you feel based upon your ability to hold space for the human and the spirit, the limitless potential. So in this moment, just thinking about a big decision that you're ready to make, and if you had faith, what would you do? Is it hire the team member? Drop it into the chat. Let someone else know if you resonate with them, if that's something that really lands inside for you. What's the thing? Drop it in the chat. I want to read those big moves. Joining the wave and being plugged into your magic, wisdom, and community has been life-changing. Yeah, Olivia, and Olivia is so amazing too. I'll just tell you all, like, she was watching me for many years, commenting all the things, coming to all of the things. And then last year, she's like, now is the time to join. And she's been circling back around, joining again, coming to here for more live next year. Like, she was someone that watched me for years before she made the move. And it was Innergetic Edge and Big Expansion that moved her into the wave, and she's been in ever since. And so when we think about mastering the human, we also want to think about mastering the funnel, because what you do matters, but who you be when you do it. I was not attached to her joining. I held space for her to join in her own time. Because what we're going to dive into tomorrow, which is the most important, you can have faith and you can surrender, but if you don't have what we dive into tomorrow, it doesn't work. So I want independence from my business partner, even from my husband of 24 years. I'm terrified to even type that. Who here has ever been codependent in a relationship? It's going to make me cry. Codependent in a relationship is just the trauma that we experienced growing up and the fear of being self, solo, one person identity. Before I was single for 3 years, I was always her. I was always boyfriend. I was always employee. I always hid behind someone else because I was scared to be all of me. This is me. Scared the living F out of me. And that's where, like, mastering the human isn't just an ROI in who you become and the money that you make. It's how you liberate and free yourself to be all of you. You begin to understand why you're codependent. You begin to understand why you're afraid about holding so much money. You begin to understand why you're afraid of holding so many more clients. I don't know if you guys have been following me that closely, but I had the most incredible Airbnb review. She sent me this message and was just like, I've never felt so safe by an Airbnb host before. You created such a peaceful and safe space. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, I don't just do this in my programs. I don't just do this at my retreats. I do this in every area of my life. I was laying in between my 2 kids last night and I was like, they're so effing lucky that they get this level of safety to surround them every single day because I'm their mom, right? Like, they're so lucky and they don't even know how lucky they are. But to back that review, I had someone leave me a horrible review, the second guest that ever stayed in my house. And I was like, God damn it. I'm ready for expansion, but I don't want a bad review. I just opened this Airbnb place. And she was upset that I asked her to leave a tip for the cleaner because she didn't change her stay once. She changed it twice for the same reason. I need to leave a day early because my flight. I need to leave a day early because I didn't realize that my flight was at this time and I need to leave at this time. And I was like, great. I actually don't have to refund her $85. I could have just said no. I said yes. And then I said yes again. And I said, and can you just leave a tip for the cleaners for us losing this like $110 after all the fees and everything are said and done? And she left me a bad review. So I got a good review and I got a bad review. Can I hold them both? I have no choice, right? And so when we're thinking about like for 17 years, the first 17 years of my life, I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe to be at my dad's with my stepmom who controlled all of our contacts and all of the things he did for me. I didn't feel safe when I rebelled at puberty and I moved in to be with my mom who was literally never at home and my house became a party house. I didn't feel safe. My dad died, still didn't feel safe. But it was all these moments that took my safety away that allowed me to create safety inside of me. And that's what mastering the human does. No matter what happens externally outside of myself, I can have faith and surrender into the safety that I can cultivate within myself. So it's like, what is the faith that you have and what is the knowing that you can surrender into, right? Because my knowing that I surrender into now is that no matter what happens, I leave the relationship, someone dies, someone asks for a refund, someone blocks me on Instagram, someone leaves me a bad review on Airbnb. Last year, I lost $40,000 in investments where I was trying to make money. At the end of the day, I have faith that I will be okay because I have proof and I have evidence that no matter what, I always have me. Always, right? So if you think about all of the hard things that you've been through in your life, who was the one that always was holding you no matter what? Who was the one that was always there in the darkness of your tears, the rupture of your heart, the big moves that you have to make? There's one person that you always have access to, and it's you. So someone was saying yesterday, it's like, when is the work ever going to be done? I feel like I've done so much work. Never. But every time it gets easier. When I was going through the hardest breakup of my life, my heart literally ruptured open. I felt the same pain in the back of my body I did when my dad died. I consciously knew that I would be okay because I remember how sad I was when my dad died, and I remembered how happy I became. But it didn't take away the fact that I was so sad losing him, that I had no idea who I was. I was like, do I like living in Costa Rica? Do I want to be vegetarian, vegan? Do I still want to surf? Are any of these things actually me, or were those things I was doing for the relationship? And so I had to re-identify who the hell Amber Lynn Hagberg is after being self-identified in a relationship from the time I was 17 until the time I was 26. My whole life I was in relationship. And so the last 17 years of my life, since my dad died, I've been devoted to my human. I've been devoted to me. And I know through every challenging thing that I go through, I'm going to be okay. And that doesn't mean that when you're at the edge of expansion, the threshold before the baby comes, the threshold before your book launches, the threshold before someone finally freaking pays you and signs up for your program to give you external validation and all of the things your soul and heart needs, like you have what it takes to hold the void when you lean in and surrender to the knowing. Surrender doesn't mean that you don't care. And I think a lot of people think like, if I surrender, I let go and I don't care. And it's like, no, if you're a human being and you don't care, then you're not a heart-centered human being with a big heart. It's like, I surrender and I let go in faith that whatever happens is exactly the way it's supposed to happen, that I am going to show up and do everything that I can. Like yesterday, I did not sit on my phone like this when Angela was messaging me about here from at Mastering the Human. I wasn't like this. My body was so relaxed and unattached to her yes that I was able to fall asleep. So when we think about marketing, for example, what is the thing that your people are staying up late at night worrying about, thinking about, stressing about? Because when you're able to surrender enough that your body relaxes into the faith, this is where you birth the baby in rapid speed. Because what I found in the birth of my daughter is the contraction wasn't actually the hard part. When it was so uncomfortable and the wave comes, it's about a minute long. That wasn't the hardest part. The hardest part for me was the space between contraction and contraction. Because what we're conditioned to believe is that we need to push. And this is why a lot of people tear. So when you're pushing and you're not in a contraction, you're forcing it. When you're pushing with the contraction, you're moving the energy down and out because a contraction is the womb pressing the baby out. So doing nothing is the hardest part. Waiting for her response is the hardest part. Sending out an email and checking your Stripe every few minutes is the hardest part. Yesterday, I went surfing. I left my phone at home. So it's like when we're thinking about relationship, it's waiting for the man to arrive. You don't have to do more work. You're doing the work. But it's like, I just need to keep growing. I need to keep doing more work. I need to keep being more unattached. I need to do. No. It's like there's things that you do and there's things that you let go of. And us as humans, hi, I'm a control freak. If I ever had to co-parent with my husband, the hardest part would be not being able to control what they eat, what they do, what time they go to bed, like how they are raised. I would freak out. My inner controller would freak out. Where is your inner controller freaking out in your business? Do you have that? Drop it in the chat. Hyper independence is also a coping mechanism. And that's where I was when I met my husband. And that made him very insecure because I was like, I don't need you. I kind of want you. But like, if this doesn't work out, I know I'm good. That doesn't work in a marriage either. I had to come around. Guilty. Right? So the $1,000,000 question here is how can I keep the faith in what I am doing when I haven't seen the results yet? What do you do when there's nothing to do? What do you do when there's nothing to do? So many people are like, I'm just going to meditate. I'm just going to meditate my way there. I'm just going to breath work my way there. That doesn't work either because that's avoidance into feeling the discomfort. So are you trying to avoid the feeling of doubt? Or are you like, oh my gosh, this scares me. Sorry, the wind is like blowing all over in my face. That's the thing about living in Costa Rica is it's super sticky, the humidity, especially down south. Are you afraid of failure? Is afraid of if it doesn't work out stopping you from what you really want? Are you afraid of being let down? Have you ever been heartbroken and then you closed your heart? Did it stop you from loving again? I've had 2 crazy aha moments on this call already. Aaron, do you mind if I bring you up to share those? You can also type them in the chat if you're like, I definitely don't want to unmute and share. You can type them in the chat. Okay. So when we surrender and we let go, it's like, can I lean in? Can I lean back into the discomfort that I feel? Discomfort in the contraction. Contraction can look like in your business, launching something for a week and no one buying. And then all of a sudden you're like, is it too much? Is the messaging not clear? Does nobody want this? Is this the wrong thing to sell? I should sell something different. Lean into that and then come back into your power. Is this the offer you're meant to birth into the world? Is this the thing that you're meant to be selling? Are you obsessed with what it is that you're creating? And are you willing to birth it into the world no matter how long it takes? Because if you knew after 6 weeks that it was going to sell out, but for 6 weeks nothing was going to happen, would you do it? I have 30 plus people signed up for next year. And my goal was to have 28 every quarter. We've way surpassed that. But Here for More will always be built off of Amber Lansdale buying before it was launched and no one buying for 6 weeks. I would do it all over again. You better believe that I went to my coach and my mentor and I was like, I sent out an email and no one has bought yet. Why not? Because I was so excited about it. I thought for sure that people were going to sign up right away because of the feeling that I had about it. What I didn't do was make external validation change my excitement for it. Instead, I created a mantra that I don't care actually what happens. I did care. But this is a declaration of where I'm going. I surrender into the fact that this might not be what I desire it to be. The outcome might not be what I desire it to be, but I'm not here for instant gratification or external validation. I am planting a seed for what I am birthing into the world. The contraction is legit. So share your most recent contraction in the chat. Share it so that you can see you're not alone. I used to hate the discomfort and avoided it at all costs. The last year in the wave and with you, Amber, has changed my life. I now ride the contraction. I still have to go, but I am remaining devoted. I wake up every morning so excited about my business now. I can see and feel it working out. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, when I was in the midst of that 18 months where it wasn't working, most mornings I'm like, it's working, it's all working out. It's working out better than I could have ever imagined. Now you know why I'm not a singer, but that's literally what I would sing in the shower. And some days I would bawl my eyes out. Why is it not working? Why am I not getting the results? Why is it not happening faster? The more that I leaned into those feelings and let myself sob, the more I leaned into my mentor to shorten the distance of the spiral. And this is when I birthed the 21 days of becoming, my daily devotional practice to mastering the human. And I started taking my clients on that journey with me. And that is what allowed me to go to 270K in 6 months, was leaning into the fact that I didn't like where I was, but I didn't have control. So surrender is like, we don't have control of how quickly it comes, but we do have control over how much we can lean in to the emotion. So what is it that you're avoiding feeling right now? What have you avoided feeling? Failure. But is failure real? Are you failing? Or are you just finding out all the ways it's not working? Michael Jordan hit so many shots, but missed way more than he won. J.K. Rowling was turned down how many times? The most extraordinary leaders in the world that have went on to build exceptional things in their life have a story of failure. And that's why I'm so obsessed that my business was burned to the ground and I rebuilt it with a soul aligned strategy, because now that strategy is what works. And I know what it means to stay devoted to mastering the funnel while we master the human. And I get to be the example for my clients. And then they get to be the example for their clients. Financial fear, shame, because I'm so used to failure, I'm afraid of success. What if I get too big? One of my dearest clients, she's like, Amber, I sign high ticket all of the time, And I am so afraid of visibility. So she's holding back on creating the offer that's going to expand and exponentially put her out there into the public. She's afraid of more visibility. It's not strategy. She knows what to do. She has a very successful multi-six-figure business. She's afraid of the visibility. So when we're afraid of success, we also block ourselves. So I'm overwhelmed and emotional. Thank you. That's why I gave you the option not to come on here. I love you. I never realized I have been in codependent relationships my whole life with narcissist mother, my semi-narcissist husband, and my business partner. I'm 46 and I'm ready to be independent since my kids are now teens. I love you. I love you. I know. I know what this feels like to realize how codependent we've been. And this is part of the mastering of the human. You're right now being mirrored by your closest relationships. Every close relationship that you have in your life right now is a mirror. They're mirroring back to you. And this is where we get to clear. You put up a really big boundary, that's the start. Now, where are other boundaries that you need to put up in relationships in your life to start to clear your auric, energetic body and field so that you can activate your power? Setting boundaries is not, I don't love you. It's, I love myself so much that I'm not willing to love you at the sacrifice of myself. When we start mastering the human, people are going to fall away. Unaligned relationships, unaligned clients, unaligned programs, unaligned offers, unaligned marketing and messaging tactics and strategies. And so it's hard when we realize that when we look out, everything that is in your life right now is reflecting you back, you. That the person who has always been in my corner is me. When you describe that person, at first I thought, I don't have that, but then started crying when you said, it's me. Everything that you grow through, everything that you experience, at the end of the day, there's going to be one person that always has you, that you can always count on. It's you. And the more that you lean into your human and you do the inner work to clear and activate so that you can serve from your highest, when you look out, the relationships that mirror you are going to show you how incredible you are. And Erin, you have this right now with your tiny little humans, with your teenagers, right? They're mirroring back to you already. And I love you. I know that you're crying so hard right now. They're mirroring back to you all the work that you've done already. And to remember that when we do more work, it's not because we're not whole already. It's just an onion layer that keeps peeling and peeling and peeling. Who here has ever thought, once I get X amount of clients, make X amount of money, get X amount of far in my life, I'm going to be good and it's going to be easy? Anyone ever experienced that? And then you get there and you're like, when I get here, it's going to be easy. When I accomplish that, it's going to be better. It's now. Right now, you are perfect. Right now, you are whole. Right now, you are exactly where you're meant to be. And staying devoted to the human is not because you need to become something different. It's because you need to expand your internal capacity to hold all of you. When you become a mother, your internal capacity shifts massively because now you're not just holding space for yourself, you're holding space for your human, your tiny human. Because up until the first 7 years, they're regulating off of your nervous system. So then you have 2 kids. I thought having 1 kid was hard, and then you have 2 kids, and now you have your nervous system, your first kid's nervous system, and your second kid's nervous system. And all 3 of you have different beats, different experiences, different emotions happening all at the same time. How does one mother hold it? I think about the women. Anyone here have 5, 6, 7 kids? Holy shit, internal capacity. Don't tell me that running a business without kids is the same as running a business with kids, because it's not. Because now you're holding yourself, your kids, the money, the financial stress of the children, the financial stability of the children, and all of the things. I don't know if it's fear or resistance. I feel like I start, then I get overwhelmed, I stop or get distracted. So it's a pattern. It's a pattern that you have to stop yourself from. What is the fear or the resistance from what it is that you're creating that allows you to get overwhelmed, to stop, to become distracted? Why? What is happening? When we practice clearing the body, expanding our internal capacity, subconsciously, your body knows. Consciously, you might not know. If you've ever had that intuitive hit, something that lands out of nowhere, sometimes this is what happens. Oh, now I understand why I'm blocking myself. Oh, now I understand why this is happening. And other times we don't even need to know. Just through changing our actions is the rewire. It's the internal shift. So when you want to see how much you've grown through the mastering of the human, your decisions shift. Where you used to say yes to others at the sacrifice of yourself, you start saying no. Where you used to spiral because a client asks for a refund or doesn't respond, you are no longer going down that rabbit hole for as long. So we shorten the distance for how long we ride the wave of the contraction. And we know this because we change what we do. If you're someone that's constantly just checking your phone to see what the problem is, then you are able to just go take a nap and go for a surf, and you trust that the right humans are going to join. You can see that you've shifted what is happening in your body. I feel like that mentally having myself has led to the hyper independence I do. My kids are everything, the proudest. Who here resonates with Erin's story at some point in your life? Yeah, most of you in some capacity, right? And so how can I soften? How can I feel? How can I just let myself emotionally digest what it is that I'm feeling? The fear. Fear, where are you in my body? Fear, what am I afraid of? Fear, if I wasn't afraid, what action would I take? Am I actually afraid Amber Hagberg today? Or is the person afraid the one that launched her retreat 10 years ago and no one signed up till the last 30 days? Is she the one that's afraid to launch the retreat again? Or is it Amber today who has sold out 20 plus retreats? Which version of me is afraid? Right? So it's like having these conversations with yourself and giving yourself permission to just feel and reflect. And that comes from the spaciousness to be within yourself. How often do you pause what you're doing to drop into the body? How often are you moving from the mind rather than the body? And if your body was telling a story right now, like what would the story be? Who here has a conversation that they want to talk about online, but they haven't yet? It's like it makes you want to throw up when you think about the thing you want to say. Angela, if you want to unmute or you want to drop your aha moment in the chat, you can. For me, I'm a projector. So I was like no, I'll let you go, Angela. I was like freaking out with Andrea, like sent me this 5, 6 minute message yesterday. I was like, I'm a projector. Thank you for telling me how you feel, and thank you for being the mirror that reflects back to me. That's the same thing that I said at Here for More Live. I'm like, I can't believe how powerful this room is right now. You guys are all just like this reminder of how much work I've done. Thank you. All right, Angela, you can go ahead.
I was just going to say the aha moment that I just had when you just said sinking into that fear and like um, which version of me has the fear to do the thing, basically. Just try to sum it up for a second here. As my daughter goes to school. Um, bye, honey. Um, so I was an esthetician for over 20 years. So I had that business first for a long time and I was very confident in it. And of course, like there were lots of ups and downs, different stages. But I just had the aha moment that was like, yeah, I need like bring that version of me forward that has held the capacity in the past instead of the version that this one that I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, like the fear of success and all the things, like, sorry, I'm kind of lost for words, like distracted at the moment. But yeah, the aha moment basically was when you said which version of ourselves are we leaning into? Are we using? Which one's coming up? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was
thank
really
you.
great. And I think, yeah, thank you for sharing that because I think what can happen, right, is like there was a version of you that used to move and used to make those moves, and you have the evidence and you have the power story. And it's like, what happened to her? Where did she go? And so when we have that aha moment, it's like, when I want to make a move that scares the F out of me, but it's pulling me forward and it keeps coming up in my conscious and I keep feeling that pull and I keep knowing that I'm meant to be there, I'm going to move from her. I'm going to move from that past version of me. Because the reality is we have all of these different archetypes within us. And there's an archetype that I talk about inside of the wave. There's 4 of them. The first one is the spiritual warrior. The spiritual warrior is the one that is devoted to doing whatever it takes to mastering the human and moving through the darkness with your Kali, with the darkness that's happening inside of you. I will sit in my sadness. I will sit when it's uncomfortable. I will sit when I'm busy because otherwise my mind will get the best of me. When we do mind training, we're training the mind and the body to become one. And the spiritual warrior is the one that shows up and does the internal work. Then we have the boss babe. The boss babe is the one that creates the content, creates the sales page, goes into their stories, goes into their emails, sends people out invitations. She's the one that makes the money, honey. Then we have the cheerleader. The cheerleader is the one that's like, Amber, you are so fucking amazing. Like, yes, yesterday you led your masterclass, you did this, you went surfing, you were a mom and you were present, you made the dinner, you cleaned the house, you went to bed with your kids. Like, I'm so proud of you. You did it. And then there's the mother that's like, Amber, take a fucking nap. Sorry if you have kids. Amber, rest. I know that you're a spiritual warrior. I know that you're a boss babe, and I know that you're crushing it. But will you please drink some water and take a nap? You're tired. And we need all of those 4 archetypes. So, which archetype do you need to call upon when your human is humaning? The one that's questioning if you're selling too much? The one that's questioning, what if I get too visible and my grandma starts judging me? Right? And so we have to call upon these different archetypes within our business and in our life. There's so much in our world and in our reality that we don't have control over. Life and death, it's not our control. What you are in control over is if, do you get sunshine? Do you calm your body? Do you rest your nervous system? Do you eat good, healthy foods? Do you have people in your life that you love? Do you have beautiful relationships? Right? Without love, without connection, without relationships, we feel empty. That's why so many people with money feel empty inside. We build wealth from the internal riches. I want you not to just be building and growing your empire. I want you to feel so good in your body when you're selling, when you're leading your programs, when you shut everything off and you go on vacation, that your nervous system is okay shutting down for a little while. It's like, who are you in control of? How you feel, what you do, when you show up, the internal conversations that you have. How you feel is mirrored back to you in your world. So it's like there's the surrender is I let go of the things that I cannot control. I do everything that I can. And so, oh, there's this little tiny snail on the ground. It's going so slow. I gotta take a picture so I can show you guys. It's like going so slow. It's like, what a analogy. It's so slow. So what happens when we surrender is things can start to speed up and we collapse timelines because we're no longer in an energetic cycle. When is it going to work? Where are they going to come from? How am I going to do it again? What if it doesn't work? I wake up every single day devoted to my human. I wake up every single day devoted to all of the things I love. And I know exactly what to do in my business. Grow a community, serve the community, sell to the community. And you have strategies that you do in each one of those categories that you do every day. And then the rest is out of your control. There's constant refining and mastering of your strategy and of your funnel, simple tweaks, just as there is of your energy body and the frequency that you are feeling and that you are felt through. And it's in these moments where you're just raw and real and deeply connected to all parts of you that you collapse the timelines and how long you're willing to sit in the discomfort. Because being in the discomfort, those 3 pushes that brought my daughter into the world, the hardest part was being the minute in between. It was not the contraction, it was the minute in between. It felt like hours. When I watched the video, it was 3 minutes. Growing my business for 18 months and nothing happening, it felt like nothing was happening for a lifetime. And then all of the sudden, there's the shift. So, how can I just be in the embodiment of the spiritual warrior, the boss babe, the cheerleader, and the mother? How can I be in the embodiment of each one of those? What would the mother say to me right now? What would the cheerleader say to me right now? Put your celebrations in the chat. What are you celebrating? What are you so proud of at this moment? When you show up at the edge of your biggest expansion, whatever it is that you're birthing into the world right now, it's going to be uncomfortable. Spiritual wealth is created in your ability to keep expanding your capacity to hold what you do and how you feel when you do it. Spiritual wealth is like, what do I feel when I'm in action? What do I feel when I'm in action? Embodiment isn't something that someone can teach you. It's something that you feel within your own body, and that happens from practice. How can I be in my body? How can I be in my body? And when the mind, I mean, who here has a daily practice, daily embodiment practice, meditation practice? Me in the chat? Yeah. And so when you keep coming back to that space, devotion into that space, hi, Brooke, things come up and speak to you at different times when you're in those practices. But who here sometimes misses a day or 2 or a week? And then your human comes up and what happens? You're like, oh yeah, this is why I do embodiment every day, because otherwise my mind and my body are in training. So what I want to do with you all now is dive into expanding the capacity inside. You can shut your camera off. You can soften the face, the eyes, the breath, and just let yourself soften. You can do this practice lying down, but if possible, do it seated. If you're getting ready or on the road, you can listen and come back to it later. And I just want you to settle into your breathing. Settle into the sitting bones. Tuck the chin, lengthen up and out through the crown of the head. Pointer finger and thumb come together to touch, palms face up. Deep breath in and sigh it out. Bringing your awareness to the third eye center. Bring your hands in front of your heart here. And we're going to do breath of fire while we chop through the heart center. So in this, we're opening up through the heart chakra, the heart channel. And as we open up through the heart channel, we're also going to be doing breath of fire to activate your full body power, the space in which you birth life, literally, or your mother has birthed your life. So press your hands together in front of your heart. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. You can go with my rhythm or with your own. It's a 3/4 of the way inhale, and then forceful exhale through your nose as you draw your belly button to your spine. Inhale happens naturally as you press the breath out through your exhale. And you're going to be chopping up and down with your palms. Keep the breath going as you open through the heart. Every exhale releasing, every exhale letting go, creating space in your heart channel. If you notice any resistance, continue with the resistance. If you notice any discomfort, continue with the discomfort. Observe as you continue to take action. Notice what the mind tells you. Continue with the breath. Pregnant, menstruating, long, deep breaths. If you start to feel dizzy or lightheaded, long, deep breaths instead of breath of fire. We control the body. We control the mind. while surrendering into the emotions that arise as we move the mind and the body in a very strategic direction, releasing with every exhale, activating your power as you exhale, and clearing your heart channel as you chop through the tips of the fingers, opening the heart, opening the heart, opening the heart. Hold the breath out. Release your hands in Jnana Mudra, palms face up. Pull in through the pubic area. Pull in through the belly. Tuck your chin. Hold the breath in. And then take a deep breath in and out. Taking just a moment to notice how you feel. Gaze is at the third eye center. As we begin to draw the breath in through the nose, down, expand through the rib cage, expand all the way into your womb space. Feel the seeds being planted, the spaciousness in your womb. Hold the breath in. And on the exhale, follow the all the way up to the third eye center and hold the breath out at the top. Mentally repeating on the exhale, holding at the top. And then when you need to, inhale from the point in between your eyebrows to your rib cage into your belly. Hold the breath in, feel the expansion within your womb. And in your mind as you exhale out, holding the breath out at the third eye center, and do that 3 more rounds on your own. And after the third round on your own, settle into silence, settle into stillness. What does my body want to know? What does my body want me to know? Keeping the gaze up at the point between the eyebrows. Notice if you start to see the light shine through, even with your eyes closed as you gaze up, seeing the light shine through. Notice if there's any vision, any image. listening to the wisdom of your body as you settle. Left hand to your heart, right hand to your belly. Breathe into your belly center. Opening your eyes, gaze down to the ground. See the actual light coming in. Take a deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, you can come back to the screen. How are we doing? You want to share in the chat what you feel. Any shift from yesterday opposed to today? Any questions that you have? I feel alive and I saw the snail. And I didn't text her during this call. My body says you're fine, just keep going. Just keep going like the snail, like the turtle. You're on your way. Any other reflections? Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. My body is making more nurturing attention and love, calm, centered, at peace, alive, focused. Yeah. So just keep coming back. Surrender, trust, faith. Yeah. Just keep coming back to this practice. We'll do it again tomorrow and we'll add on another layer. We have 2 spots left for those that want to join us Mastering the Human in May in Costa Rica. So this 2 spots, you're going to get 3 one-on-one coaching calls with me, as well as a year inside of the wave. The reason this is so special is we're not just going to focus on mastering the human, where it's going to be full devotion. Like, think about Vipassana, but actually, we're going to be having deep conversations and creating community. We're going to be talking, but we're really going to focus on a cellular, full body shift so that your frequency expands and contracts, where you realign to your fullest potential now in what it is that you're building, what it is that you're creating. So we're going to focus on mastering of the human with the retreat, deep cellular shift. That's where we kick it off. But you're going to get an entire year of riding the wave so that we can ride the wave of mastering your funnel and your business strategy as well. This is where you get direct coaching with me every single month, as well as access to all the things that I'm doing strategy, from private podcasts, low ticket offers, retreats, live events, all the things that I'm doing in my business. This way, while you're mastering the human and who you be, when you're implementing what it is that you do, we birth the baby together through expansion and contraction. So a whole year inside of the wave, which is $2,000 if you just invest in a wave, For one-on-one coaching, I do 3 months, which is $6,000 for 3 months. You're going to get 3 one-on-one coaching calls a year inside of the wave. And we're going to start with the retreat. Thanks for putting that in there, Amanda. I know some of you were asking, when is the retreat yesterday? It's May 21st through 25th. And it's up in San Luis, Costa Rica, where is the second largest waterfall in Costa Rica. We are going to be at the edge of the equator. So energetically, this is going to push you to the edge of expansion. But these days are going to be diving deep into the philosophy of tantric philosophy, Kundalini yoga, and the art of like, what is that spiral that's happening? The spiral is our expansion. It happens at the third eye, it happens within the womb, and it happens up here at the crown of the head. So there's 3 points where the Kundalini begins to awaken and open. And this is where you start to be a magnetic force of energy that you just pull in higher caliber clients, more aligned relationships. You hold more money, you hold more clients, you hold more stress. It doesn't mean it's not uncomfortable. It's that you have the internal resources to hold whatever is happening in your life. So together for an entire year, mastering the funnel, mastering your human, we start with a retreat. And this is only if you're someone that wants to be really devoted to who you be and what you do. Erin says, hell yeah, best place on earth. She just hosted a retreat there, and I went and spoke at her retreat, which was so fun. Metamorphinka is where it will be hosted. So if you want to check out that, mastering the human, amberhagberg.com, mastering the human, it's $4,500 for a year of coaching, for a retreat, for 2-month intensive where we meet every single week as we move through the different philosophies in tantric and kundalini yoga, so that you have tools that you can go out and teach at your retreats and in your programs. Like, how do you teach energetic alignment? How do you teach energetic mastery? And how do you really like focus on being the embodied leader? So if you want to check that out, mastering the human, I'll send it out to you in an email as well. And if you have any questions, you can message me. I might fall asleep, but I'll be back. And same time, same place tomorrow. All right. Have a good day, everyone. Oh my gosh, Rachel with the surfboard. You're really cool. Like, where's my other surfers? Thank you all for being here. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and make sure that you come back tomorrow, because this is the piece that ties it all together. Faith, surrender into the most important element of birth, safety. If you do not have safety, you will contract backwards. You will stop birth from happening. So if you don't feel safe in holding the duality of it all, you will stop birth from happening. It happens with animals all of the time. It happens in birthing hospitals all of the time. If a woman doesn't feel safe, she will actually go backwards in her dilution. She's at 9, she can go back to a 3. Because if we don't feel safe in the body, we will close off. Same thing happens in our business. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.